Hello and good morning, friends. Every day, life hands us a quiet gift. Not wrapped, not announced, just given. 24 hours, no more, no less. It does not ask who you are. It does not ask what you have been through. It simply arrives equally for everyone. Yet, by the end of the day, those same 24 hours tell very different stories. Some people turn them into growth. Some turn them into healing. Some let them slip away unnoticed. The difference is not luck. The difference is choice. We often complain that we don't have enough time. But time is not lacking, direction is. Hours are not stolen from us. We give them away unconsciously. To fear, to distraction, to comparison, to waiting for the right moment. But the right moment is always now. Using your 24 hours wisely does not mean filling every minute with productivity. It means filling your time with intention. It means knowing why you wake up, why you pause, and why you choose what you choose. Wisdom in time begins with awareness. When you are aware, you stop living on autopilot. You stop rushing through mornings without gratitude and nights without reflection. You begin to understand that every hour carries potential. Not to impress the world, but to become closer to yourself. Some hours are meant for effort. Some are meant for rest. Some are meant for silence. Wisdom is knowing the difference. We often feel guilty for resting, as if slowing down is a weakness. But rest is not wasted time. Rest is what allows the next hour to be lived fully. A tired mind cannot use time wisely. A drained heart cannot create meaning. Using your day wisely also means choosing what not to give your time to. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every path deserves your presence. Time spent proving yourself to the wrong places is time taken away from becoming who you truly are. Your 24 hours are shaping your future quietly. What you repeatedly do with your time is who you slowly become. Time does not rush transformation, it allows it. Small habits matter. Small choices matter. Small moments matter. A few minutes of reflection can change a mindset. A few minutes of kindness can change a relationship. A few minutes of courage can change a direction. Using time wisely also means being human within it. Laugh when you can. Cry when you need to. Forgive when it feels heavy. Love when it feels risky. Do not save your best words for someday. Do not delay becoming honest with yourself. Do not wait for life to slow down before you start living. Life will not slow down, but you can. And when you do, time begins to feel different. It stops feeling like something you are chasing and starts feeling like something you are walking with. At the end of the day, wisdom is not about controlling every hour. It is about respecting each one. Respecting it enough to be present. Respecting it enough to choose meaning over noise. Because one day these 24 hours will stop coming. And when that day arrives, the question will not be how busy you were. It will be how aware you were. So tomorrow morning, when the day quietly hands you its gift again, hold it gently. Use your 24 hours not just to exist, but to live. Everyone receives the same 24 hours. Wisdom lies in how we choose to use them. Every single day begins the same way for all of us. No matter who we are, where we come from, or what we are carrying inside, the day arrives with the same quiet, offering 24 hours. Time does not negotiate. It does not favor. It does not discriminate. It gives equally. Yet by the end of the day, those identical hours tell very different stories. Some people feel fulfilled. Some feel exhausted. Some feel closer to themselves. Some feel lost. The difference is not how much time we had. It is how consciously we used it. Wisdom begins when we understand that time itself is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It becomes meaningful only through our choices. An hour can be spent growing or worrying, healing or holding on to pain, connecting or comparing. The hour is the same. The intention is different. Many of us believe that people who succeed or feel peaceful must have more time than we do. But no one is given extra hours. What What they have is clarity. They know what deserves their time and what does not. They understand that saying yes to one thing means saying no to another, and they choose carefully. Wisdom teaches us that not everything deserves access to our 24 hours. We often give our best energy to things that drain us and leave only leftovers for what truly matters. We rush through mornings without awareness and collapse into nights without reflection. Days pass. We don't remember living them. Using time wisely does not mean controlling every minute. It means respecting the value of each one. It means asking ourselves simple but honest questions. Is this helping me grow? Is this bringing me closer to peace? Is this aligned with who I want to become? When we begin to ask these questions, time starts to change its meaning. A wise use of time includes balance. It understands that effort and rest are not enemies. That productivity without purpose leads to burnout. That silence is sometimes more valuable than noise. Wisdom allows space for work, reflection, relationships, and renewal. We must also accept that wisdom with time is learned, not inherited. We misuse time before we learn to respect it. We rush before we understand patience. We distract ourselves before we discover presence. And that is part of the journey. Each day gives us another chance to choose differently, another chance to be more aware, another chance to treat time as the precious, limited resource that it is. 24 hours may seem ordinary, but they are quietly shaping our lives. What we repeatedly do with them becomes our character. What we prioritize within them becomes our direction. Time does not ask us to be perfect. It asks us to be intentional. When we live with intention, even simple days feel meaningful. Even routine hours feel alive. We stop chasing time and start walking with it. Because in the end, wisdom is not about having more time. It is about honoring the time we already have. And when we do that, 24 hours become more than a day. They become a life lived consciously. Time is not lacking. Direction and awareness are, we often say we don't have enough time. We repeat it so often that it feels true. But if we pause and look honestly, we realize something important. Time is not missing from our lives. Awareness is. Every day gives us the same number of hours, yet many of us reach the end of the day wondering where they went. Not because the hours disappeared, but because we were never fully present within them. We were physically moving through the day, but mentally scattered across worries, comparisons, regrets, and expectations. Time does not slip away on its own. We drift away from it. When direction is missing, time becomes unfocused. We move from task to task without intention, from screen to screen without meaning, from thought to thought without rest. At the end, we feel tired but unfulfilled, busy but disconnected. Awareness is what gives time direction. When we are aware, we know why we are doing what we are doing. We are no longer reacting to life. We are responding to it. Awareness turns routine into rhythm and chaos into clarity. Without awareness, even a free day can feel wasted. With awareness, even a difficult day can feel meaningful. We often blame responsibilities for stealing our time, but responsibilities are not the problem. Distraction is. Fear is. Mindless habits are. We lose hours not to work, but to unconscious living, scrolling without purpose, worrying without action, comparing without understanding. Awareness gently interrupts this pattern. It asks us to pause before we say yes, to breathe before we react, to choose before we consume. Direction comes from knowing what matters. When we don't know our priorities, everything feels urgent. Everything demands attention. And when everything matters, nothing truly does. Time becomes fragmented, pulled in too many directions at once. But when we are clear, time becomes simpler. We begin to recognize what deserves our energy and what does not. We stop giving our best hours to things that leave us empty. We stop postponing what nourishes us. Rest, reflection, learning, connection. Awareness also teaches us that being busy is not the same as being purposeful. A full schedule does not guarantee a full life. Movement does not guarantee progress. We can fill every hour and still feel lost if there is no inner direction guiding us. Awareness aligns our actions with our values. It helps us ask not just what we are doing, but why. When we live with direction, time stops feeling like an enemy. It stops feeling like something we are chasing or running out of. It begins to feel like a companion, steady, supportive, and meaningful. Awareness does not require drastic changes. It begins with small moments, noticing how we start our day, noticing how we end it, noticing where our attention naturally goes. These small observations slowly return control back to us. Time was never against us. We were simply disconnected from it. And the moment we reconnect, the moment we live with awareness and direction, time begins to serve us again. Because a directed hour is more powerful than an aimless day, and an aware life is richer than a busy one. Using time wisely means living with intention, not constant productivity. We live in a world that celebrates being busy. Full calendars are worn like badges of honor. Exhaustion is often mistaken for importance. But busyness is not wisdom. Using time wisely does not mean filling every hour with tasks. It means filling our time with intention. It means knowing when to move and when to pause, when to give effort and when to give ourselves permission to rest. Productivity without intention leads to emptiness. We can spend an entire day doing things and still feel like nothing meaningful happened. When our actions are not connected to our values, time feels heavy instead of fulfilling. Wisdom asks a deeper question than, how much did I do today? It asks, did what I do today matter? Intention gives direction to effort. When we live intentionally, we stop measuring our days by output alone. We begin to value focus over speed, depth over volume, and alignment over approval. We choose quality of attention instead of quantity of activity. Some moments are meant for work. Some are meant for learning. Some are meant for rest. Wisdom is recognizing which moment is which. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It is a requirement for doing anything well. A constantly productive mind becomes numb. A constantly active life loses its sensitivity. Intention reminds us that rest is part of progress, not an escape from it. Living intentionally also means releasing guilt around slowing down. We are not machines designed to perform endlessly. We are human beings designed to feel, reflect, and grow. Time used to breathe, reflect, or simply be present is not wasted. It is restorative. When we remove intention, time becomes chaotic. We multitask without meaning. We rush without purpose. We fill silence with noise. But when intention enters, even simple actions become powerful. A focused hour of work becomes more effective than an unfocused day. A few minutes of reflection can realign an entire mindset. Intentional living also requires courage. It requires saying no to things that look productive but feel empty. It requires choosing what nourishes us over what impresses others. It requires trusting our inner values over external pressure. This is not laziness. This is wisdom. Time respects those who respect their own limits. When we honor our energy, time flows more smoothly. We stop fighting the day and start cooperating with it. Using time wisely is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. When our actions reflect our intentions, time feels lighter. Days feel meaningful. Life feels aligned. Because in the end, productivity will never define our worth, but intention will define our life. Rest is not wasted time. It is necessary for clarity and growth. We live with the quiet belief that rest must be earned. That slowing down means falling behind. That pausing is a sign of weakness. But rest is not the opposite of progress. Rest is what makes progress possible. A tired mind cannot think clearly. A drained heart cannot choose wisely. And without clarity, time is easily misused. Rest gives time its depth. When we allow ourselves to pause, we begin to hear what constant movement was drowning out. Our thoughts become clearer. Our emotions become easier to understand. Rest is not inactivity. It is intentional stillness. Many of us keep moving because we are afraid of stopping, afraid of facing our thoughts, afraid of feeling what we have been avoiding. But rest gently invites us to meet ourselves without distraction. This meeting is where growth begins. Rest allows healing to happen naturally. It gives space for lessons to settle, for emotions to be processed, and for strength to rebuild. Without rest, growth becomes forced and fragile. Time used for rest is not empty. It is preparatory. Nature understands this wisdom. Fields lie fallow before yielding crops. Muscles rest before becoming stronger. The night exists so the day can begin again. Yet we often deny ourselves the same rhythm. When we ignore rest, time becomes harsh. Days blur into exhaustion. Decisions become reactive. Life feels heavy because we are carrying it without pause. Rest restores balance. It teaches us to respect our limits instead of fighting them. It reminds us that our worth is not measured by constant output, that we are allowed to exist without performing. True rest is not escape. It is presence. It can be a quiet walk, a deep breath, a moment of silence before responding. These small acts of rest return power to our time. They prevent burnout before it begins. They allow us to enter life with intention instead of urgency. Wisdom understands that a rested hour can save a wasted day. That clarity gained in stillness often prevents mistakes made in haste. Rest is an investment, not a delay. When we honor rest, time becomes kinder. We stop pushing ourselves beyond what is sustainable. We begin to live in rhythm instead of resistance. And in that rhythm, growth feels natural instead of forced. Because time does not demand that we run endlessly. It asks that we move wisely. And wisdom always includes rest. Small daily choices shape our future more than rare big moments. We often believe that life changes in dramatic moments. A big decision, a major opportunity, a turning point that arrives loudly. But most lives are shaped quietly, not by one defining day, but by many ordinary ones. Not by rare breakthroughs, but by repeated choices. Not by what we do once, but by what we do consistently. Time pays attention to patterns. A single hour may seem insignificant, but repeated daily, it becomes a direction. What we choose to do with small pockets of time slowly becomes who we are. The habits we build, the thoughts we repeat, and the priorities we return to quietly write our future. Small choices do not feel powerful in the moment. That is why they are often ignored. But time multiplies what we repeat. 5 minutes of reflection each day becomes clarity over time. 5 minutes of anger each day becomes resentment over time. 5 minutes of learning each day becomes wisdom over time. Time does not judge the size of the action. It amplifies its consistency. We often wait for motivation to make big changes. But transformation does not require dramatic effort. It requires commitment to small, intentional actions done regularly. Time responds to consistency more than intensity. Small choices protect us from regret. When we neglect small responsibilities, they grow into heavy consequences. When we honor small disciplines, they grow into strength. Life rarely changes overnight, but is always changing quietly. The danger of small choices is not that they are small. It is that they are easy to repeat without awareness. Scrolling instead of resting, complaining instead of reflecting, avoiding instead of addressing. These choices feel harmless, but time remembers them. Awareness allows us to interrupt this cycle. When we become conscious of how we spend small moments, we regain control of our direction. We begin to understand that we do not need to overhaul our entire life. We need to adjust our daily decisions. Small kindness builds strong relationships. Small honesty builds self-respect. Small courage builds confidence. No one sees these moments, but time does. Time is patient. It does not rush results. It simply continues to multiply what we feed it. That is why small positive choices are so powerful. They work quietly, without pressure, without noise. Wisdom teaches us to focus on today's choices, not tomorrow's outcomes. We cannot control the future, but we can influence it through what we repeat today. When we choose growth in small ways, the future slowly aligns. Because in the end, life is not the sum of our big moments. It is the result of our daily ones. And time always honors what we practice. Respecting time means being present. Human and fully alive now, we spend a large part of our lives waiting. Waiting to be ready. Waiting to be confident. Waiting for the right moment. But time does not wait for our readiness. Life is not happening in the future we are planning or the past we are revisiting. Life is happening now, in this very moment, imperfect, unfinished, and real. Respecting time begins when we stop postponing life and start participating in it. Being present is the greatest form of respect we can give to time. Presence does not require perfection. It requires honesty. It means showing up as we are, not as we think we should be. It means allowing ourselves to feel deeply instead of numbing ourselves through distraction. When we are present, we stop escaping the moment and start living inside it. Many people exist in time without truly living in it. Their bodies move forward, but their hearts are stuck in regret or fear. They relive yesterday or worry about tomorrow, forgetting that the only place where life can be touched is now. Presence returns life to us. When we are present, conversations deepen, moments slow down, simple experiences gain meaning. Being fully alive does not mean being constantly happy. It means being fully human, allowing joy and sadness, strength and vulnerability, confidence and uncertainty to exist without resistance. Time does not demand that we be fearless. It asks that we be honest. Living fully now also means letting go of the illusion of control. We often delay life because we want certainty before action. But certainty is not a requirement for living. Courage is. Courage to speak when it matters. Courage to choose growth when it is uncomfortable. Courage to love without guarantees. Every moment we delay living is a moment time quietly takes back. Respecting time means choosing now over someday. It means expressing love before it becomes regret. It means resting before exhaustion demands it. It means becoming aware before life forces awareness upon us. Being present also requires gentleness with ourselves. We are learning. We are healing. We are becoming. Living fully now does not mean having everything figured out. It means allowing ourselves to be in progress without self-judgment. Time honors sincerity more than achievement. A single honest moment can carry more meaning than years lived unconsciously. When we live with presence, time stops feeling like it is slipping away. It begins to feel like something we are walking with, step by step. One day, we will look back and realize that the most important moments were not the ones we planned perfectly, but the ones we lived courageously when we had the chance. Respecting time is not about urgency. It is about awareness. And awareness transforms ordinary moments into meaningful ones. Because in the end, time will not ask us how busy we were. It will quietly ask, were you there? And if we can answer yes, then we will know that we did not just pass through time. We lived within it. At the end of the day, time will not remember our excuses. It will remember our choices. Each morning, we are given 24 hours not to impress the world, but to shape our life. How we use those hours quietly becomes who we are. Time does not demand perfection. It asks for presence, intention, and honesty. Do not wait for the perfect moment to begin living. Do not delay kindness, rest, or courage. Do not underestimate the power of small, conscious choices. Because time does not slow down when we hesitate. It moves forward, carrying our moments with it. So live today with awareness. Choose wisely. Rest when needed. Grow where you are. And when the day ends, may you not ask where the time went. May you know exactly where you lived. Because respecting time is not about doing more. It is about being more, here and now.